In the black void of space, the Kryon belt loomed as a vast, jagged minefield of drifting asteroids and debris, an unforgiving region of space that had once been dismissed as a useless frontier. But to Commander Ava Sterling and her ragtag fleet of battered human ships, it was the perfect battlefield. Kryon was humanity's last foothold in the Sikaris system, and with the combined might of the Xi'Vati coalition bearing down on them, retreat was not an option. The Xi'Vati fleet, a shimmering armada of sleek, silver warships, moved like a predatory swarm, each vessel bristling with plasma cannons and advanced energy shields. They were well organized, precise, and their technological superiority was absolute. On paper, this was no contest. The humans were outgunned and outnumbered 10-1. But Sterling had no intention of fighting the coalition on their terms. "Break the formation," she commanded, her voice steady as her fleet entered the asteroid field. "We fight dirty, we fight smart." The human ships vanished into the debris field, using the jagged, rotating asteroids as both cover and camouflage. To the Xi'Vati fleet, their prey had seemingly disappeared. Commander Sterling knew that coalition doctrine relied on flawless strategy and overwhelming force, but it lacked the one thing humanity excelled at: adaptability. In the shadow of a massive asteroid, the crew of the Hephaestus frantically rigged scavenged mining lasers to augment their failing weapon systems. Others attached explosive charges to drifting debris, effectively turning asteroids into makeshift bombs. "Signal the fleet," Sterling ordered. Operation Ambush. One by one, human ships darted out from the cover of the asteroids, launching surprise attacks at key coalition vessels before disappearing back into the debris. The coalition ships, despite their technological prowess, struggled to track the erratic human maneuvers. Their shields, designed for frontal assaults, were not equipped to handle the guerrilla tactics the humans employed. Sterling's tactics didn't rely on brute strength but on patience and misdirection. The coalition fleet was forced to divide its forces to chase phantoms, and soon, their precision fell apart. When the first Xi'Vati warship collided with a mined asteroid, exploding into a brilliant ball of plasma, the rest of the fleet hesitated. That hesitation was all Sterling needed. "Now," she barked. The human fleet unleashed their hidden weapons, improvised asteroid bombs, mining lasers, and kinetic railguns fired in sync. The coalition ships found themselves navigating a deadly obstacle course where every rock and fragment could spell doom. Sterling's forces capitalized on every moment, chipping away at the alien armada piece by piece. Hours later, as the shattered remains of the Xi'Vati fleet drifted through the Kryon belt, the remaining human ships limped back to their base. Commander Sterling stood at the bridge, her eyes fixed on the smoldering debris. They had won, against impossible odds. "We're not done yet," she whispered. "Not by a long shot." Hell on Dunes, the human marines' last stand on Thul-Ara. The twin suns of Thul-Ara beat down relentlessly, the heat shimmering off the endless dunes. To most species, this desert planet was a death trap. To the hardened human marines entrenched on its surface, it was just another battlefield. Sergeant Nia Ramos wiped the sweat from her brow as her squad crawled through the blazing sands, their power armor struggling to compensate for the hostile environment. They were part of the last defense against the Ketha Dominion, a species of towering reptilian warriors with exoskeletons harder than steel. The Ketha had already taken half the planet, and their massive war machines trampled across the dunes, reducing human defenses to rubble. But the humans weren't giving up. "Stay low and quiet," Ramos whispered into her comm, "wait for the signal." The Ketha were organized in phalanx formations, using heavy walkers and skimmer tanks to overwhelm everything in their path. The human marines had lost their armor support days ago, but what they lacked in firepower, they made up for in cunning. When the Ketha advanced on the human lines, expecting another easy victory, they found the dunes eerily silent. Their sensors picked up nothing but the harsh winds and the occasional heat bloom. Just as they moved to crush the human outpost, the ground beneath them erupted. Ramos had ordered her marines to bury entire caches of explosives beneath the sands. The first wave of Ketha tanks vanished in a storm of fire and sand. The alien foot soldiers hesitated, unsure of where the next attack would come from. Ramos grinned. "Now." From hidden crevices in the rocky outcrops and beneath the sand, the human marines opened fire. They didn't aim for the Kether directly, doing so would be suicide given the strength of their exoskeletons. Instead, they targeted the sensitive joints of the Kether war machines, and the sand-shrouded filters on their armor, clogging them with debris. They used the environment itself as a weapon. Kether skimmer tanks spun out of control as the sandstorms, kicked up by human-made wind generators, blinded their sensors. Marines darted from cover to cover, their mobility enhanced by a mix of scavenged thrusters and camouflage netting. The Kether faltered. For the first time in their campaign, they were losing ground. In a final act of defiance, Ramos led her squad in a desperate assault on the command walker. Armed with nothing more than scavenged explosives and handheld railguns, the Marines scaled the towering vehicle and placed charges along its joints. With a final explosion that shook the desert, the command walker collapsed in a cloud of dust, and the Kether lines broke. Ramos stood at the top of a dune, her armor scorched and battered, but her spirit unbroken. The humans had held Thule, and in the endless sands, they had proven that adaptability would always triumph over brute force. Behind enemy lines, the human special forces' mission to destroy the alien doomsday weapon. Deep inside the heart of the Zarin Imperium's capital world, a small team of human special forces infiltrated the most secure facility in the galaxy. Their mission was simple: sabotage the Imperium's newest superweapon, a planet-destroying energy cannon capable of wiping out entire solar systems. Captain Alex Mercer led the team through the labyrinthine corridors of the alien stronghold, moving silently through shadows. The Zarin were masters of advanced technology, their cities floating in the clouds, their soldiers equipped with telepathic enhancers that made them nearly invincible in direct combat. But the humans didn't need to fight directly. They had another advantage: unpredictability. Mercer's team had been briefed on every aspect of the Zarin's tactics, but it was the human ability to think outside the box that would win the day. While the Zarin relied on perfect systems and logic, the humans thrived in chaos. Using stolen uniforms and cloaking devices, the team infiltrated the core reactor room of the superweapon. Once inside, Mercer quickly realized their original plan wouldn't work. Zarin security systems were more advanced than anticipated. Plan B, he whispered. With no time to think, the humans improvised. Instead of hacking the reactor, they overloaded the system by triggering a chain reaction in the coolant valves. The reactor's failsafes, designed to handle calculated sabotage, were overwhelmed by the randomness of the human tampering. As alarms blared and Zarin guards flooded the facility, Mercer and his team made their escape, disappearing into the city's underbelly. Behind them, the doomsday weapon began to melt down, its destruction assured. The mission had been a success, not because of superior technology, but because of humanity's greatest strength, their ability to adapt, improvise, and defy expectations. The day we took back Earth, humanity's last defense against the alien invaders. The skies above Earth burned red as alien warships descended through the atmosphere, their weapons raining destruction on the cities below. The combined forces of the Galactic Council had arrived, determined to bring humanity to its knees. For weeks, the aliens had bombarded Earth from orbit, their superior fleets cutting off all escape routes. But humanity wasn't finished. Not yet. In the ruined streets of New York, Captain Elena Vasquez organized the last remnants of the human resistance. They had no spaceships left, no orbital defenses. What they did have was their home, and an intimate knowledge of every nook, every cranny, and every resource the aliens could never hope to understand. "We've lived on this planet for thousands of years," Vasquez said to her team. "They've been here for days. That's our advantage." The aliens expected a traditional battle, one they could win with overwhelming force. Instead, Vasquez and her soldiers fought from the shadows, using guerrilla tactics and the very infrastructure of Earth itself to turn the tide. The subways, sewers, and collapsed skyscrapers became their battlegrounds. Every alleyway held an ambush, every building a trap. The final blow came when the humans hacked into the alien mothership's navigation systems. Using an old satellite network, long thought defunct, they redirected the mothership's own weapons against the fleet. In a brilliant flash of light, the alien invaders' pride and power crumbled, and the skies above Earth cleared. Humanity had survived. Not by brute force, but by sheer will, determination, and an unbreakable spirit. The war wasn't over, but Earth had been defended. And as long as humans drew breath, they would keep fighting.